Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and this is my entry into the Metal Marty Max contest for his 600 subscriber celebration. So, first of all, congratulations, Marty. That's awesome. I really love your channel, and it's well deserved. So, I'll leave a link to the contest video below. But basically, he wants you to show 5 songs, bands, album titles that coincide with the name of a movie, and you can show the movie if you have it. If you don't have to show the movie. And then the second part is he wants just to know 3 of your favorite movies and show them if you have them. So I used to collect movies quite heavily, not so much anymore, but I have a library stacked up, so I'll be able to show all the movies I'm going to talk about. So let's get started. First, going a little bit off script. When Marty came up with this challenge, this is the first thing I thought of, the Acid Witch Midnight Movies EP. What this is 4 songs that are all from heavy metal horror movies. So we've got I'm Back from Rocktober Blood, I believe. Yeah. After Midnight from Trick or Treat, Soldiers of the Night from Black Roses, and Party Time from, of course, Return of the Living Dead. But as you can tell, none of those actually say the titles of the movies, so I just want to show it. It's a really cool record if you're into Acid Witch or into heavy metal horror movies. It's probably something you want to check out, or you may already know about it. So let's get down to business. All right, the first movie I thought of was The Beyond. Lucio Fulci, classic movie. But for me, by far his best movie. Not even close. I actually kind of don't like most Fulci movies, but this one is amazing. Just the atmosphere, the creepiness of it. There's some awesome gore. There's some horrible prosthetic spiders in a certain scene. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just a fantastic movie all around. This version actually has the soundtrack in it, so that's cool. And then, so my pick for the music is a band called The Beyond. This is their only full-length Frostbite Panzerfuck. It came out in 2013 on Horror Pain Gore Death. So this is a really, it's hard to pigeonhole band. It starts out and it's full-on like sleazy kind of G.G. Allen type punk rock with very offensive lyrics. Then a couple songs later, there's a actual G.G. Allen cover. I won't say it, but third down, you can see what it is. And then they go into like some frosty black metal, as you would expect from the title, kind of Dark Throne inspired. And they kind of go back and forth then between that kind of like almost hardcore-y punk sound and then the black metal sound, including the vocals. He goes full on black metal in some songs and then like a more of a punk style in others. Really enjoyable album. Unfortunately, the singer and guitar player died in 2017, so there's no more from this band. They did 2 splits before this and then this full length, and then that was it. But yeah, check out The Beyond. Really, really cool, interesting band. All right, next up, I've got The Fog, the John Carpenter classic, which I didn't know was a huge bomb, and apparently a lot of people hated it. And it had a lot of trouble in the production, but fantastic movie. This movie I watched when I was a little kid over and over and over and over, and it's one of those that's held up for me. I still love it. Still a fantastic movie. And then for the song, I found this. The band is Zombie Death Stench, and the album is Here I Die Zombified. And track 2 here is The Fog. So this is a really strange band from California. It's really mid-paced death metal, but there's keyboards all over it. Kind of in that Acid Witch style of like the 70s horror. I guess so. The 70s horror. These guys were before Acid Witch, but if you know what I'm talking about with Acid Witch, it's that kind of vibe. Lots of different vocal styles on here. Different styles of death metal vocals. There's like 7 people in this band. It's a real fun listen. The thing is, I like the sound of it, but the songs really don't stick with me. So that may be why I didn't really remember this so well. I had to re-listen to it to kind of reacquaint myself with it. They do a really fun cover of Joan Crawford from BOC at the end. It's fun to hear them do it in that style. So, yeah, Zombie Death Stench, interesting band. If you've never heard of them, you can get this for friggin' peanuts anywhere. I think I got this free with some order. All right, Phantasm. I'm going too long on these, so I'm gonna get going a little faster. Phantasm. Everybody knows Phantasm. Fantastic movie. So the first thing I thought of was the Possessed song, but I didn't really talk about it on this channel, but I am a Possessed disrespecter. I do not think they're that great. I think they're third tier thrash to me, but so instead of Possessed, I went with this Mayhem, the Hearse single. And inside, you'll see it's got Hearse from the World Funeral album, and then a cover of Phantasm. That's all that's on this. And yes, if you need another example of me being an idiot completist, I paid probably $12 for a cover of a song I don't really care about that much. So, all right, next up. Oh, I watch this every Halloween. Trick or Treat. This is the semi-bootleggy VHS version. Apparently, we're getting a real version this year. Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne do not star in this movie, as the cover tries to make you believe. But a heavy metal horror movie. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. A lot of fun. Has its problems, but I love it. So, of course, you got the soundtrack. Fastway did the soundtrack. Fantastic soundtrack. But I went a little further with this one. This is the Vandalists demo / EP, their debut. It came in this like sewn denim sleeve with a patch on it. And then the CD is inside, and you see they do a cover of Trick or Treat. The Vandalists are kind of like a 80s inspired traditional metal band. Super fun to see live. I would recommend checking them out. Has Vanek from Midnight is in this band. All right, we got number 5 is Reanimator. Again, a classic I don't really have to go into. Barbara Crampton in this movie. I don't know if there's ever been a hotter woman in a movie. She's just amazing. And still hot to this day. And then the band, I chose the band Reanimator, which I just discovered recently in Record Hall in Montreal. They're a French-Canadian thrash band. This came out in 2009. This is their debut. Super fun thrash, and it's a bit more aggressive. It's not pizza thrash, as kind of the cover might lead you to believe. So yeah, Reanimator. And then 3 movies unrelated. It's 3 of my favorites. I'll start with this one, Glengarry Glen Ross. If you don't know it, it was a play, a David Mamet play about salesmen, basically. So it's a bunch of dudes sitting around talking the whole movie. But the acting is incredible, the writing's incredible. My wife can't stand it, but this is one of those movies I can watch. I can just watch over and over and over again. Just the dialogue is like poetry, and it's very, very, very sad. Also, just to warn you. Next one. I don't know if this is held up very well, but this was a favorite in my 20s. Crossing the Bridge, directed by Mike Binder, who he did some HBO show that was kind of popular. I don't really remember. So this is a story about, set in the 70s. It's these guys who are like 19, 20, a couple years out of high school, just kind of messing around, not really doing anything with their lives, just getting drunk every night and driving around. And they're in Detroit, and they go over the bridge to Canada to go to strip clubs and whatnot. And then one of them gets the opportunity to smuggle some drugs back to make some money. And then it's the 3 of them deciding what they're going to do, if they're going to go through with it, things like that. So more just like a buddy story. But I don't know. It really spoke to me in my 20s. It seemed to capture that time when you're out of high school but you don't really know what you want to do with your life yet, and you're just kind of spinning your wheels. So I don't know, if you haven't heard of this one, give it a chance. And then probably my favorite horror movie ever, Martyrs. This is a French movie, kind of part of that French new wave of horror that was big 15 years ago or so. It says 2008. Yeah, okay. This movie was so good that it kind of has ruined horror movies for me. Like, it's just so affecting, and nothing can really compare to it in my mind. I don't want to spoil it. So basically, a young girl is found. She's been tortured, and she escapes from some warehouse where she was, and then ends up in a group home. Nobody knows who tortured her or what happened to her. And then the story picks up when she's a teenager, and she thinks she's found the people who tortured her, and she breaks out to get them. And her friend follows her to try to keep her out of trouble. And things go from bad to worse to absolute hell. All triggers for this or whatever, if that's something you're concerned with. But if you haven't seen Martyrs and you're a fan of horror movies, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. All right, that's my video for Marty, and congratulations again, Marty, and hope you enjoy the video. All right, see you guys later.